Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Dipali Patel. I'm a Chief Medical Officer of Stryde, as you all know. And in today's episode is the most special one because we are in-house, the video, and our first patient of our humans of clinical research, who is Donna. Hi, Donna. Welcome to Humans of Clinical Research. And I'm really excited because you're our first patient onto this podcast. So, I am thrilled to have you, and I'm interested in knowing about your personal journey into a research. I know you're already part of the study right now in your Sjögren's, and I want to know how you're doing. How did it start? I have too many questions. Maybe I'll have you start here. Your maybe just a general introduction and go ahead with what got you into the research.
Sure. So, hi, I'm Donna. What got me into the research was I had seen this on Sjögren's, and I thought, well, I've never seen anyone doing a research study on that. My background is in medical. My dad and brother are doctors, and I went to school for opticianry for the eyes.
And see.
So I've worked in eye surgery and in different medical practices. And you just don't hear much about Sjögren's and, the autoimmunes. It's like, who's studying this?
Right.
So many other things. And I thought, okay. So I'd seen the information about it and thought, I want to check this out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all started. It was fantastic.
Wow. So did you knew about the clinical research in general before even Sjögren is in consideration? Like, what did you knew about the industry?
About the industry, I had done medical research before for allergies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Years ago, probably when I first got to Dallas.
Got it.
I had been asked at my allergist office if I wanted to participate in some. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. They're studying this.
Right.
I'm interested to give feedback. Sure, I'll tell you my perspective and how I do. And so that's when I first had done that. And that was just through allergies and asthma.
Okay. Got it. So you were in the study or you were conducting the research? Like you're only...
Oh, no, I was participating.
You were
I was a participant.
Oh, I gotcha.
I just thought it's really interesting. So I'm glad that they're studying it.
Mm.
And so I like to participate because
that's good. At least you knew what you're...
I did, yes. So then I had seen this about the autoimmune and thought, okay, well, that's really interesting. I haven't seen anybody studying this before. Sure, I'd like to try. And of course, I had many questions and wanted to know exactly what it was because there were certain things that I thought, okay, through my rheumatologist that I had not taken.
Right.
Because I've tried to very much do a more holistic path.
Okay.
And so there are certain things that I did not want to take. And so it took a little while going through, the process to find out that, okay, they're not going this way. Right. It's not going to be this type of a trial with this type of a medication. And once I found that out, I thought, okay.
Nice. So did your rheumatologist or any other physician presented this to you, or this is something you looked up?
No, I found it
I got it
through researching. I've been looking at some different symptoms just because I was interested.
Okay. All right. So maybe help me understand, like, where do you look up? Was it just a simple Google? Isn't like, is there any Sjögren studies going on, or is there a particular platform that you have used before or are using right now?
I had looked up on Facebook. Actually.
Got it. Okay. That's really...
autoimmune studies.
That's good to hear, so, okay.
And it was interesting, the ones that came up. There's quite a few with rheumatology, but it's more diabetic and neuropathy. So I had seen that a lot. And I thought, surely somebody... And then it was so interesting that there were so many in the Metroplex.
Right.
And I thought, surely somebody's got to be studying, about the Sjögren's somewhere.
Right.
Because I just knew I continued to read more things about it. It's like, okay, they're still learning more about this. Someone's got to be studying this.
Correct.
Because I had seen what it had been doing in my life. And I thought, I really would like to get in on one that was safe, going down the path of something I would be willing to take.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I found it on Facebook.
That's amazing. this is almost like a fresh breath of air, because a lot of the time what happens is that we call patients who we think that is going to be a good fit for the study. And then we call it as like, oh, I don't want to be part of the research. So,
Sure.
you're on the other side of the realm and you're more like,
looking
okay,
for-
I am looking for a research.
Sure.
So maybe what I want to know is that when you got into the research, is there anything that you are taken by surprise or something you expected or did not expect? Like, how do you think? Is it exactly what you had perceived before coming in?
Pretty much it is. This took a little longer, but I understand it's a little more of a very particular study
Right.
than the allergy one that I had done. So it pretty much was what I had anticipated. I did not know that they were going to be so thorough as far as with the examinations
I see. Okay.
and blood labs. So
Right.
I'm glad to see that.
Got it.
Like studying okay, here's this actual patient. Let's look at these underlying things.
Mhm.
Where is she today?
Right.
All the different aspects of what's going on versus just a blood test
Right.
saying, okay, you have
You
these
have-
ANA antibodies,
That's
which pretty much is what I had experienced before,
Mhm.
even with rheumatology.
I see.
It's kind of like you have this, here are ways to treat it,
Mhm.
but other things were not being tested. And I knew,
Right.
I've got these other things going on. So how does this play into this? And so I was curious and researching on my own.
Mhm.
And I thought I'd really like to have this checked into further because I saw how it was impacting my life
Wow.
and my health.
So then here is a clear difference in terms of the regular day-to-day practice where we're told that this is what we have, but we don't really look into it too much. More of the symptomatic and then you're good to go. But I guess for the research, because we're studying about that particular medication, 360 degrees.
Yes.
So then we look at much more in depth.
And that's what I was interested in because I knew this was much more than if you typically think of Sjögren's dry mouth. And I thought, no, there's more going on.
Right.
I know there was more going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know that for my health.
That's
Just trying to find someone that was being progressive and looking ahead to really study it. So
got it. Did this affect your day-to-day a lot, or did that impact anything?
sure.
Give me a little bit of more information.
Absolutely. On my choices of what I could do in personal life, or for work, as far as, stress level and time. And this is going to affect, okay, when I can sleep or when I can do this or when I can do that. Because I still need to do these things at home, or I still need to do these things at church. So just knowing what my body can do and knowing that I do need some downtime.
Right.
Okay. How's this all play into it? So
I see. Okay. And what gave you, maybe I'll remind back a little bit. So your day-to-day impacted, but how did any surprises that came your way into the research?
oh, sure. I did not realize that there were so many overlaps
Mhm.
as far as, okay, so I knew maybe I had this condition, maybe I had that condition, I had this going on in my body, that going in my body.
Right.
I did not realize how much Sjögren's was impacting my body as a whole versus just certain aspects like your glands, dry eyes, dry mouth.
Got it. I'm just going to cut it a little bit over here. Over here, there's a star on its own.
I think it's Star Trek.
Okay. Got it. All right. So just to recap, I think I'm going to go back to the previous question because I don't think we got it recorded.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But so Donna, how do you think that being part of the research impacted your day to day? And did anything came as a surprise or you didn't prepare for?
As far as being in the research study, what it was going to require,
Mm-hmm.
I knew typically what it was going to require. I did not know that I would have as long of exams and as thorough of exams, right, to check out all the different ways this was affecting things in my body. And so that was very positive. And you guys have been very accommodating as far as being able to work with, okay, well, here are these days I have off from work, or here are these days I can have 3 or 4 hours to come in.
Right.
So that's been fantastic. It's been very enlightening to know. It's like, okay,
Right.
I knew I had, some things going on with those, body systems and those things. I did not realize how related it was to the autoimmune.
Wow.
So that was very good to learn.
Nice. Did that make you read more articles?
Oh, sure.
Sjögren's and
Oh,
what's
yes,
going on with
it
this?
is.
Right.
And then having to dig deeper because so many have not caught up
Right.
to
Yeah.
how it
that's
affects
true.
the body as a whole.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it also changes our perspective as well. Like even from
Sure.
a physician standpoint, like once we know something more in a detail and then we see that an actual clinical judgment changing and then physical exam changing, it's very different. Like
Oh, yes.
from a day-to-day practice to a research practice is a whole different, ball game altogether. So.
And seeing the positive
Right.
since starting the study of how this is affecting my body. And I just think, okay, this is obviously I'm trying to be very careful and purposeful in what I do and how I live and, try to preserve, these areas of my body that I know the autoimmunes have been,
Right. That's true.
wreaking havoc on. So then when I start to see the progress, it's very encouraging.
That's amazing. And is there anything that you feel like you want to, this is your stage to voice any of your concerns or a feedback to our sponsors? Because there are so many other sponsors and pharmaceutical companies who are looking into, different molecule and different indications and things like that. As I think we discussed like before, when we are sitting down and we're looking at this particular molecule, we look at the mechanism and we're like, hey, it would be so good if you can get this one data, out of like exploratory, because again, this is a research. And I feel like at some point of time, we get greedy about the data and like what this medication can do. But at that point of time, unknowingly, we forget what there's a real patient on the other side, right?
Yes.
So,
Whose life it is affecting.
exactly.
Either positively or someone's getting placebo then.
Right. So what would you tell the sponsor or some sort of a message to them?
Let's see. I like that they track the symptoms daily on the app. So that's nice.
Okay. So you're on the liking side of it.
I like that just because I think that's important because you can tell, obviously it's notated in the research when I do the shot. So then you can see, okay, how does she progress? How are these body systems responding?
Right.
1 day after, 2 days after. Okay, here's at 5 days.
Got it.
Look, she's having, more negative impacts now. The shot's wearing off.
Right.
So I think that is very good. I'm glad that they track the data
That's
in that way.
Right.
And it's convenient. It's on your phone. You can do it wherever. It just takes a few minutes.
Right.
Sometimes I have a little trouble with the app, but I've learned how to work with that. Ours helped me.
Okay.
So sometimes if it's not logging on, I'm like, why is this saying come back later?
Right.
Because I know I haven't done it today. So then I'll go to the email and, try and log in that way. And anyways,
That's
I
good.
think some of it's just technical, but
Right.
learning how to navigate that as well.
Gotcha. One of the questions I have is, what would you describe your journey into the research? Like, what do you want to see more of? And I'm talking about the overall participation, which means that you are more in touch with ours, like, the study coordinators and our PI, who's a rheumatologist, and like the overall study team. Anything you want to kind of walk us through your example, something that kind of like stood by you or like it just,
Well, a couple things. One of the things is it did take longer to get in the study.
Yes, I remember that.
Which obviously is both frustrating, but then I thought, okay, well, they're really trying to be very careful with the parameters.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really taking this seriously as far as looking at all my health aspects. Will I be a fit for this?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this looks like they're really going to delve into the research and my health. So I was encouraged by that, even though I know it's frustrating to try and jump through all the hoops.
Right.
And you guys were great in advocating for me. So I greatly appreciate that.
That's
Because if I wasn't in the study, there's a lot of the testing I wouldn't have had done
right.
that my rheumatologists have never done.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have just wondered.
Right.
I would have continued to research on my own, but I can't give myself.
That's true.
You know, the exams and the testing
Mm-hmm.
to show, okay, yeah, this is not just your imagination. When you're having this flare,
Right.
it really is correlated to
Right.
this, you know, so I knew that because when it happens over and over and over, I'm like, this isn't a coincidence.
True.
But I've had no testing
Yeah.
and no medical
Right.
evidence on, oh, yes, this is
Yeah.
related.
That's right. But
So,
right. Maybe just to paint a little bit more color to everybody else, like Donna, we screened her for a study, and then we had so many medical questions and, you know, the filters, the eligibility criteria, lots and lots of back and forth from, you know, the sponsor to us, and the medical team is getting on the calls, and then we're like, okay, the patient number this has this, and, you know, this is how we confirm that patient has this neuropathy, or, you know, this is the biopsy results and things like that.
yes.
We actually had to rescreen you for this study.
Yes.
We did all of the testings again, did the, you know, the biopsy and everything that was needed. And I believe we got the confirmation of your eligibility on the last day of the allowed window, which is again
for some of those labs to come back.
exactly. So, and I think we had to get you back for the recollection of some of the, you know, the labs and stuff like that. So anyways, I think it was almost like we met Donna almost 5 times before we even enrolled you to the study. So yeah, it was a lot of hoops and, you know, bumps that we've gone through, but then we made it, and, you know, that's just, but I think a patient like you to come across is also really rare. You know, even like Arj tells me is like Dipali, like, she's our patient. She's our, like, you know, one of the very, like, a rare patient that we can stand by and be like, okay, like, this patient needs this help, and she's really willing to do everything, and, you know, all of that. But I'll tell you the reality of it, we don't come across that sort of a patient every day. So there's so many patients that they have a trouble with diaries and they forget. So we're like, okay, it's like every day we remind us, like, make sure it's 4:00. Like, you have to do your diary. You have to do this. And, you know, all those
do it.
Right, exactly. So, and there are also a lot of patients who ask a lot of questions, which is a great thing. But when we're asked about, like, why do you guys need this? This takes a lot of my time. I don't have this kind of time. I have this 9 to 5 work that I have to do, and not going to be able to make it for like 3 hours in a day. And, you know, it's different. Like, you're making it work, but it's difficult for everybody else. And I'm sure even for you
to find out
now
parameters of when it is.
Exactly. So what do you tell to, like, that sort of a patient, you know, population who wants to get help, but then there are 2 reasons. One, that there's always a skepticism about this research. I feel like there's a taboo in a way that, okay, I'm not a guinea pig. Like, I don't want to be part of the study just because of that. Like, why did you study your data first? And a lot of the patients also hang up. They just hang up on us as if, like, we are a scam. So it's just like we have to kind of earn a lot of those trust.
The trust.
So help me pass a message to them.
Well, I think knowing that it's going to greatly benefit your health, and you guys in the study have been great in that. Knowing, okay, this is worth it because this is going to, this is going to help not just me, but this is going to help so many people.
Right.
And, you know, this condition is real.
Correct.
And we do need help with it. And there's not a lot of help and research out there on it.
Right.
So as far as making time,
do it for the greater good.
I think we'll do it for the greater good as a whole, but then also this is going to give you a better quality of life. Because you can get those answers. If the patient can get those answers,
Right.
and if I know that I can get feeling better and have better health in these areas, I'm going to have a better quality of life going forward.
That's right.
So I am buying myself. I'm investing in myself. You're investing in yourself to go forward and be able to feel better.
Yeah.
And in regards to, oh, can you get off work? Well, it's not like you're going to have your nails done. This is medical.
Yeah.
So it should be able to be treated, I would think, through someone's work as a doctor appointment.
Yeah. That's a
And
good point. And then we can give a note. Like
I was
they
going to
need
say, I would
put
think
it-
that there would be able to be a note given.
right.
But this is going to be an investment in
Yourself.
yourself, because you're going to get the testing. I
Right.
like that you guys give the results. I've had some friends that have done some medical testing and they did not get the results.
I see.
They got a little bit of information, but they didn't get the results, which being able to see my blood labs,
Right.
that helps me in working with my other doctors.
That's right.
Like, okay, I've got something, my thyroid's okay. This isn't doing so well. So, boy, I didn't know because there wasn't time for me to go into my doctor yet.
Yeah.
But through the exams, it's like, okay, I
Right.
need to get this checked out. Obviously, I need to have my dosage lowered on this. So that's been helpful.
That
I
is
didn't know that.
right. You got a couple of good points. First is investing in yourself. I think it just changes the table around rather than me telling the patient, it's like, hey, you're not now a guinea pig, but you're doing it for your own better health and the quality of life. And the time wise, we will try to get it covered as much as we can and have your employer understand exactly what it is,
Exactly.
what you want to go through and, things like that. So that helps a
The
lot.
flexibility, knowing, okay, here's this window. You guys are not just saying you have to come on this day from this time to this time.
That's right. Yeah.
It's more, when can you be available? This is going to be a 3-hour appointment. You don't have to be fasting.
Right.
You need to be hydrated. We're going to do the blood labs. So knowing that in advance is very helpful. I think a lot of patients may not know to ask that.
Gotcha.
I know to ask that just because of my clinical journey and background.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. And what else?
And I think the ongoing labs, I just feel like it's a good idea for you to check into yourself and, see exactly month to month what's
I would not have known. I knew that a year ago, I did that increase in thyroid medication because of what blood labs showed.
Right.
But then now, great. Okay. I'm having this result because of my thyroid. The blood labs are showing that. It shows that, hey, my thyroid's evidently working a little bit better. I don't need that extra medication. This is taxing my body. I wouldn't have known it because I wasn't due to go back for a number of times. And, maybe I wouldn't have seen the need, thought I was just okay and pushed that appointment even further.
Correct. And now you're being treated as a whole rather than just a one education that we're studying upon. This is just a byproduct that works in the positive sort of feedback.
And I think that is one huge disservice in the American medical system, that patients and doctors, many, treat, here's this symptom, you have this.
Yeah.
Why do I have it?
That's right.
What is causing this? What plays into this?
Correct.
I don't just need a medication to make this blood lab come back happy.
Yep.
That's not fixing the problem.
Correct.
Why am I having this? What can we do to get to the root cause? So I'm very much into integrated healthcare because I see the benefits of it.
Right.
And so in doing these labs, and I think I didn't know for sure. I had asked, will I be able to get a lot of my lab results back? And I was told yes. I think a lot of patients may not know that. So that would be very helpful to tell people that you're going to get this lab work.
Right.
You don't have to pay for this.
Yeah.
You're actually getting paid to do this.
Correct.
But you're going to have these blood labs and these very advanced tests.
That's right.
That you can take to your other doctors.
Correct.
So you're going to be able to become healthier and feel better and have a better quality of life.
Yep.
I see that's a great aspect to promote.
That is a really good point. And I'm going to make sure that my patients, maybe we will tell them ahead of time that, you are going to get your blood work. You're going to get
Sure.
it tested this many times. Don't look at it as like, how many times am I going to get, punctured? But at least you'll get your results much more. It's almost like you're under a close observation. And if anything, you're going to be staying much more safer and compared to your other routine, clinical practice.
And try going to get that in the regular medical system.
Correct.
Insurance is going to say, no, we don't need to take
Yeah.
5 or 7 vials of blood. We just will hit the highlights on these main labs, and they're not going to look at these others. Oh, you can have it looked at if you go to another specialist and another specialist and another specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have fun with insurance.
True.
And this way you're getting a deeper dive and really being looked at thoroughly.
That's true.
And then I think it's important to let the patient know, okay, obviously it's not been easy for you having these autoimmune. There's a lot of doctors don't give you much information on it.
That's true.
If you're not with your specialist, you can go into a typical doctor and say, okay, oh, I see you have these autoimmunes, or they don't even mention it as if it doesn't affect everything that's going on.
Right. So we just prescription and then it just helps you with the symptoms and then you're on your way.
So you can think also for the patient or future patients who are going to do a trial, you're helping yourself, yes, but think of all the other people you're helping.
True.
That maybe haven't been with a great doctor.
Right.
You're getting
you get to the
research out there.
You get to the root cause and hopefully an idea of even preventing it from happening. So once we know what's actually causing it, we can go and at least maybe try to fix it early.
Yes.
But that's, again,
because you can address it now in your health.
Right.
Or, these autoimmune conditions, it attacks your body and your organs.
Yeah.
So once that's gone, that's gone.
Correct.
And then, okay, so God willing, you have 30, 40, 50 more years to live. You need your body to be in a good health.
Right. For the quality.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, that was really enlightening in a way. Hopefully, even if I get like 1 to 2 patients asking me about these questions, that would be a win for, the whole idea of why this podcast. Maybe one of my last but not the least question is, what would you want us as a research team to do more of and less of? If you have any. If you don't, I'll take it as a full positive,
You guys have been great to work with. I have worked with a lot of different medical teams on different health aspects.
Right.
And sometimes it's very difficult to be able to get someone to ask even a basic question.
Right.
You're going through someone to ask the question.
That's true.
And then that takes maybe 4 phone calls to get that answered.
That's right.
I can ask you guys a question. I can text it. I can email it. I know I'm going to have it that day or I'm going to have it the next day.
Correct.
Which helps me know, okay, here's what I need to do. This lets me know, okay, now I can use the apps. This is working. Or yes, I can do this. No, I can't do that.
Right.
Yes, we can change this appointment. Yes, this is okay. No, it's not okay. So it keeps things much simpler.
Okay.
So it's been very,
so we'll continue doing
very, very reachable and very productive. So that is, I thank you for that.
Thank you.
That is very good. I think that probably is why maybe some people are hesitant to get into a clinical trial because they know how difficult it is just to call their regular doctor and get one simple thing worked out. And they think, I don't have 2 days to use on this question. And they think, oh, a research study, guys, that's going to take
they're going to do even more. But, that is something our pain point on a daily basis is when a patient is interested to get their medical records from their other physicians, like they're either PCP or other specialists, that takes more than 3 weeks. And sometimes we need patients to do a little bit more just to help us to kind of get through that clinics. And they even put us on like a sort of a radar. Then guys, you have called 30 times and we're like, it's been more than 3 weeks and we need this medical records. Like, yes, you need to fax it to us like right away.
Yes.
But yeah, it does take that long.
And you can see that as a patient standpoint,
Right.
we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of calls and a lot of headaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But knowing that you guys, and I think letting people know that, we're going to take care of this,
Right.
with your doctors. Initially, we need you to sign this that we're allowed to
Correct.
request this information, but we're going to take this.
Correct.
We're partnering with you.
Yeah.
We need certain things from you, but we are here on your team to do these things.
Right. But it does take a patient like you, Donna. So thank you.
Interested.
Right.
Well, I think you guys, I've had really good results with this. So
Right.
I'm very happy.
That's really, music to our ears. And, I'm very thankful that we've had patients like you. And, again, like Stride, that's our motto. Like when we did the Stryde Research, when we created it, the entire team, we go with patients first and
Sure.
then everything else follows. So we want to make sure that we stick by it. And that's the reason, like you see Arsh and you see other coordinators and, we kind of went through all of that. But that's just something we want to make sure that we are known for it. And as long as I'm able to create that trust factor, even like by 2% more out there, then that's like, our goal is met. So.
Well, I think you guys have done a really good job in that. I have a lot of friends that are in the medical community, and they've not had that experience with some other research.
I see. Okay.
Companies that they've worked with.
Okay.
And so knowing that you're going to be very productive and proactive and partner with us to do these things is very helpful.
That helps a lot. So this sort of a feedback is what we're looking. It's almost like a reassurance that, okay, we are doing the right thing. We're on the right path and we need to continue what we can and what we cannot do. So,
Sure.
But, I think last message is what I'm getting it from you. Your overall feedback into the research is 100% positive.
Oh, it's very positive.
Right. And you want to have more patients to hear that it's not as bad as you think, as long as your team is correct and proactive and, you're taking care of a lot of the other, we take away the burden and that's what we want to do. So,
I think a lot of people that get involved may think, and I think that's just cultural in this country, that big pharma and the doctors, you guys are benefiting from this. Obviously, you are. But I don't think people realize enough that I too am greatly benefiting because of being able to get all this testing, being able to get all this in-depth look, which you could get, but it would be so costly and time consuming to try and do that. And a lot of these things I've had done all under one roof.
That's right.
You guys keep the data. You're giving me the blood labs. So it's like almost a concierge type medicine.
That's right. Your data is with you. You're getting treated.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through the financial burden of it. Yet you get to see much in depth about your own self as far as the health is concerned.
Yes, and you have access to call or text or email, and you guys take care of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that at regular doctors unless you're in a type of a concierge medicine.
That's correct.
Insurance is not a touch. So it's like, all these benefits, really one-on-one focused care. So it's very beneficial to patients. I don't think a lot realize that.
Gotcha. That's a good point. These are certainly a great points. And I can have conversation on and on with you, but I know that we only have a limited time and you have to go back home and then, do all your diaries and the chores that you have to do. So
I do think one thing and that I've heard, I know from a medical study that I've participated in. I participated in that, the allergy one. I've also participated in what was the other one that I did? It was migraine.
Oh, okay.
Years back. I think it is incentive for patients if they know they are going to get paid a little bit of a stipend to do the diary.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I'm guessing that compliance falls greatly into that. So that's a little motivational thinking, okay, well, I'm doing this. Why don't I get paid anything for it?
Mhm.
And, in the other two, I did get paid for, well, there were apps. At that point, it was manual. Got it. And you just knew that was just an extra little incentive. I think because people do get busy, but if you think, hey,
It's your time worth it.
if I do this, and by the time they are, going to pay me a little bit this for my time for the.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd say that's something that might motivate people
That's right.
a
That's
little more.
So we do, and we try to really kind of let the sponsor know that, okay, like let us keep that one extra incentive for the diaries, or like maybe attach it with like percent of compliance. Like you have to stay more than 80% compliant. And if you are, then you get that.
Then
So,
you get this.
Exactly.
And
So
that could be very
right.
motivating to
Yeah,
people. But
absolutely. And that message is also something like it's, Donna, it does get tricky sometimes because I also don't want it to sound like, hey, you're going to get paid.
Sure.
Therefore, you participate. So
Exactly.
there is that message that you need to be extra careful. Like when we talk to the patients, like come for the study and the participation rather than that's just a byproduct. It's because your time, you're giving your time out from day to day, but don't come with the fact that, hey, I'm actually going to get paid for
You're
it.
not going to make a living
Right,
doing
exactly.
this. This
Right.
is not exactly a side hustle.
Yep, exactly.
Which
So
is popular these days. But sure, your time is valuable.
right,
We respect that you're doing this.
Yeah.
And then
right.
I'm just
So
thinking of compliance.
yeah, I always tell my team to make sure that the messaging goes the right way, because it should not sound like, hey, guess what? Do you want to be part of this study? You're going to get paid that much. Like that's not the messaging that we want to do. But your extra incentive on the diary, that definitely, I agree. And we've seen some results in some of our studies where, we need that compliance. They're twofold, right? One is for the eligibility. If you're not compliant, guess what? Even if you have the entire profile that's meeting the criteria, you probably are not going to get into the study just because you're not compliant. That also tells us that you're going to be compliant throughout the study as well. So it's like we need both
To be invested.
Right.
There you go. Another thing that I think would be helpful, and I know on the app, in reference to doing the diaries, it will give you little alerts on the app.
Right.
But you have to go to the app, open it up, and see that there's the alert. Okay. Are you going to do that? Yes, there are emails sent, but how many people see their email? I mean, maybe you look at your emails in the morning, maybe at night.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be helpful to have some type of a text that came through like, hey, please do your this today. Because you see your text, you never just come up. So I think that would be helpful.
That's
something that you don't have to open. I don't have to go to my email and open it. I don't have to scroll back and find this app and touch it.
Make it easy, accessible, like right away.
And then you just have that because on your phones, you just see it come up. I think that would be helpful.
That's a good point. And sometimes we do that, especially for the patient that needs a little bit of a reminder. We just put it on our reminder that, okay, 5:00, let's just text that patient.
And that would be helpful because there's times that I did not realize. I'm thinking, gosh, I've thought about it. Right. I'm thinking, yeah, I did that. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't do that for yesterday.
Right.
One of them too. I thought I did.
Right.
So that extra reminder, because it's busy.
That's true.
It does. And we have a lot going on in our brains.
Yeah. That is right.
But yeah, I think it's very positive. I've been very, very pleased. Is my health better from getting all this information? Yeah, I'm better to get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can get much better care from my medical team as a whole.
That's right. Because we have a lot better idea of what it is.
Oh, sure.
So looking at the mirror and see exactly what's going on, not just for one indication, but throughout as a 360 of your body. So
exactly. All the blood labs and watching it so carefully.
Right.
That's excellent.
Oh. And now I got stuck. Maybe not. So, okay. Well, thank you, Donna. Hopefully we will get this up and running in a few weeks and we'll let you know when you can, see it and, everything else. But even if I get 2 patients from this podcast asking me questions, that would be my biggest win. So,
absolutely. Yes. I think the more we know, the more we can all help each other.
Sounds good. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much as well. Appreciate it. I appreciate it.